Hey guys, it's Anthony, Subaru Service. Look at what we got. I think this is what, video 17 or something? I found the problem. I found it. New machine shop we used. We're gonna see what they want to say about it. But if you look right here, both plugs were out of the oil galleys. You know, that's my fault. I didn't see that they were not in there. You know, when we assembled the engine, I mean, I screwed up. I was in a freaking half-ass hurry. But the other issue is, you know, if the machine shop took them out, they should have put them back in. You know, if you take it out, put it back in. Don't take it out and then not give us, you know, generally we would get the old parts and the freeze plugs would have been in there, but I didn't freaking do it. So it ran for, I don't know, it warmed up once and then I got it about half temperature a second time. It probably ran for 45 minutes or so. Nothing over about 1500 RPMs. So I pulled, you know, we're concerned. I mean, shit, it ran for a little while without oil pressure. So I pulled the bed plate, went ahead and yanked it back out, yanked the engine. The bearings, we're gonna go ahead and put new mains in it. That is smooth. I can't feel anything with my fingernail. It's completely smooth. It's a coating. It's just getting worn. Now, I've never ran bearings for an hour and taken them back apart to see what kind of wear there is. But, I mean, we're going to go ahead and replace them. Replace the main bearings. The crankshaft looks perfect. I mean, it doesn't look like there's any imperfections at all. It still looks absolutely perfect. And it's wet. I just pulled this off, too. I went ahead and pulled one rod cap off. That was wet. You can see the oil on it. So it was getting oil. Trying to find so I got over here, this is the farthest rod cap away from the oil pump. Right here, let me set it down. I only pulled one off because we're just inspecting here. And I mean, it's obviously smooth, you know, and it's wet. There's no grooves or anything in it, nothing like that. So as far as any damage, I really don't see any. I don't see any issues with bearing issues or anything. Let me get it on there a little better. I don't see any issues with bearings. I mean, it needs to be cleaned off. Oh, did I just put those lines on there? I think I did. I just rubbed it up and down and put those little grooves on it. But so what we're contemplating right here, let me set this down here. You know, I mean, how much do we replace, you know? I mean, the bearings are smooth. Look like just like normal wear on them. You know, they were getting oil. They're wet. All the journals were getting oil. The cam, if you can look in the passageway right here, this is the galley that, you know, that should have had a plug in it. And then let me see if I can get some better light on here. It will, the galley goes up through the cam. It hits the cam bearings first, and then it goes up and hits the crank. So the crank gets oil after the cam. So, I mean, if the main bearings look like that, the cam bearings, I mean, there's no way that the cam bearings have any kind of issues with them because they're getting oil long before any of these. You can kind of see, well, you can't see really, but the passageway for the oil goes here and goes up and meets with the cam bearing hole and then goes on up and then meets up with the crank. And that's where the crank oils the rods. You know, the rods get oil past the crank and these are nice and wet and good. So what I'm looking at is, you know, I mean, we're going to call them tomorrow and find out, you know, what the heck, why didn't you tell us that, you know, why didn't you even bring it up? You just yanked the oil galley plugs. And granted, I mean, I can't put it all on them because I'm the freaking dumbass that didn't put the damn plugs back in it. I didn't even think to notice. I mean, every engine we've done, you know, it's just not something that we You know, those, I've never had an issue with a clogged freaking oil galley. Look how big that sucker is. I mean, it's huge. You know, it's big as your freaking finger all the way through there. If an oil cooler doesn't, if we don't have issues with oil coolers clogging on the oil side, how in the heck would we have a reason for oil galleys to plug that are 3/4 of an inch around? There's no reason, you know. So if so that's why all the engines we built, you know, we haven't messed with the oil galleys. You can blow them out from the passageways, you know, but I don't know, maybe I'll start popping them out and cleaning them, but I just don't really see the use, the benefit, you know. Hot tanking it, jet washing it, and then blowing it all out real good. I mean, if it ain't broke. But I don't know what kind of situation that leads into, but it's just a freaking bummer, you know. If we would have known all the oil pressure issue, I knew we was missing something. I mean, but so this tells you right here, we can have all 4 oil galley plugs out and the truck will run. I mean, it ran, you know. The lifters didn't prime up. It took a while for the lifters. They were, after about half hour, 45 minutes of running, they did start to prime up. So, you know, right now what we're looking at is, you know, what do we yank the whole damn thing out, do a total on? I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see the need to, because the bearings look good. I mean, rod bearings look good, especially the main bearings. I mean, there's wear on them, you know. They'll be, I don't know, I'm gonna sleep on it. I mean, we might just yank the freaking yank the crank and replace all the rod and the main bearings. But it's just a bummer to do that heads on, you know, to get them all lined up and set the crank back in. I mean, I guess I'll just get about 6 people here. You know, I'll have 6 guys, 1 on each side, and then 1 guy manning each journal for the rods. As we set the crank down, that's that one person's job, is to line up both of those rods on each journal. Which I mean that'll be no sweat, you know. But we inspected everything in there. I mean, it looks good. You know, it's I don't know, we're gonna go sleep on it. I'm gonna sleep on what I'm gonna do here. But at least we found it. We found the low pressure oil issue. So at least we know when we put it back together, and I'll know on every single other damn one we put together that make sure it's got freaking oil plugs in the damn thing. You know, I've just, or I wish they would have just put them back in. If they yanked them out, they could have put them back in. I mean, that's just, but, you know, just what I think. But we're back. We tore it back down. We're freaking, now at least we actually found the issue. So maybe we'll put this thing together to stay now, you know, put it together and be done with it. But there's another video. Can't wait. I don't think I've got a video of it running yet, but it did run. You see my little, look, I modified my timing bracket. I did that a long time ago to allow me to time with the branch tube in place. It's pretty cool. Yep. But there you go, guys. I'm going to leave it at that, and have a good night.